Alone, alone. Why the hell you tell me you're alone, alone? I just wanna be here on my own, my own. I just wanna be here on my own, alone.
Pretty good. All right, well, welcome back to the LOFT. This is episode 33. Today I'm with Felici and Marissa Felici from Never Surrender Hope. They're an outreach group in Philadelphia, and they're doing a lot of good for the community and doing a lot of good for people who are addicted and going through stuff like that. So I wanted to have them on and dive a little bit deeper. And I saw you guys on Facebook, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to reach out and get involved. And like I've been doing with Grace Project and Darnell at Teach On Feed One, I thought it'd be cool to have you guys on and just kind of talk about your story, because I know there's a big story behind everything that you guys have been doing. So so it's good to have you on.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course. So you guys are, like you said earlier, you're an outreach group from Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit that does a lot of outreach group, or we do a lot of outreach work. We do a lot of support, family support, and
awesome.
Support for people in recovery.
That's awesome. So you started in 2017, right?
Became official in 2017. The big group of us, there's the main group of us. We've been doing this for years. We were with other groups, kind of branched off on our own and decided in 2017 to make it an official nonprofit.
So you guys just wanted to get involved, and so you just kind of went around to other groups?
Yeah, so we all have our own reasons. I had a son who was suffering with substance use disorder. Most of us do. We have sons or daughters or nephews, loved ones that are affected, and just wanted to find ways to give it back. So.
That's awesome.
We knew how helpless we all felt when we were going through it, and we didn't want anybody else to feel that way. So we said, hey, what can we do? So we started with other organizations, some great organizations, and found our way kind of together and said, hey, let's make our own nonprofit and get this going.
So it was like your family's decision, like, hey, let's actually start this and make this a legit nonprofit?
Yeah, it's actually wasn't, it's not even my family's, it's friends. These are all friends.
Okay.
So there was Kathleen, who's no longer actively with us for her reasons, and it gets heavy. It gets very heavy.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then we have Sally and myself, and Kathleen had reached out and said, hey, why don't we make this official? Why don't we do this? And the three of us will do it together. So we said, okay. So we were the co-founders of the group, and we already had all our girls who were amazing, and we were all doing it together with anyway. So we formed, our board, and we kind of took it from there, and it grew, and it continues to grow. And it's an amazing group of women.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And man, I can't leave Scott out. Scott's the only man on the board.
So it's how many people were on the board?
10.
So 9 women and 1 guy?
Yeah.
Shout out to Scott.
Oh, we love Scott. Yeah, shout out to Scott.
That's awesome. So
yeah.
What's each person's role on the board? Do you guys what's your main thing? You're an outreach group, right?
Well, because we do so much more than outreach. So we started as outreach. So we have those our amazing lead Trish, she's amazing. Kathy, she's amazing. They base a lot of their stuff doing the outreach work.
That's awesome.
We have and we also have Sally. Sally lives a little bit further, so she does a lot of work out where she's at. She's our vice president. Trish, we just have so many people, and they all do their own. We all kind of have our own little thing that's
amazing.
That we kind of are really good at. I like to help. A lot of times I get people into treatment, and then I do a lot of support with the families, and we have our people that do that. And
that's awesome.
We have Marissa. She does the fundraising, a lot of the fundraising work, and we all kind of just. It's like a puzzle, and we all fit together.
That's awesome.
And it makes an amazing group.
That's really cool. So you mentioned you're personally affected by addiction and stuff, right? You lost your son.
Yeah, my son died just before his 26th birthday in 2018. Oh, wow. Or 2019, I'm sorry, 2019, so it was February 24, 2019. He was very proud of this group and all the people of the group. He loved Never Surrender Hope. He was supporting us the whole way and very proud of all the work that all of us were doing. And he was always really fast to throw out there, my mom never surrender hope, never surrender hope, Mom help this one. And he was always trying to help somebody. But it's awesome. A great group. And and my family's affected hard. And, both me and my husband are police officers. And when we found out that my son had issues, we didn't understand addiction. We seen it from kind of the law enforcement side of things, which is a little different. So, everybody sees things differently and kind of handles them differently, and I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to ask for help. People ask me for help. Who do I ask for help? It's kind of a hard thing.
Yeah.
So, I broke down, and it was pretty bad. And I finally realized the best way I could help him was to educate myself. So I started educating and doing all the education I can to help him. And in doing all that education, I realized how there was really not the best resources, how families are kind of left high and dry. Learning about the epidemic on the streets of Philadelphia, everything started to come together, and it's just like, how can this be possible?
Yeah.
How can this be possible?
Right.
And I didn't want anybody else to suffer the way I was suffering, with feeling like lost and confused, not knowing where to go or what to do.
Absolutely.
So, so I just got myself out there and started meeting people and still educate myself to this day, like we all do, so that we can keep helping.
You're able to pay it forward in a way. I mean, it's super fulfilling to like educate yourself, because it affects my family too. Someone in my family is going through it, and it's like you see how it doesn't even really affect the addicted. It affects the families that are. It
affects the family so much.
Like I've seen just go and having to get the person in my family from Kensington, or having to hear that, oh, he's getting skinny again or whatever. It's like it's really hard to hear, because you just want to help them, but you realize, and you know more than anyone, but you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. And
the disease of addiction,
right?
The fight of, that feeling of you just want to choke them because what they have the ability to do, but they don't feel they have that ability, and they don't say it, and the self-worth, and I watched your podcast with Darnell, and Darnell, he summed it up perfectly, and it's a lot of times they're their own worst enemy. Yeah. And they don't realize the potential. So, that's the good thing about Never Surrender Hope. We try to go out there and remind them of those possibilities. Yeah. We try to be those moms and give those hugs, because their mom isn't there to give them hugs. Right. And just remind them, like, hey, there's family out there that loves you, and if there's not, you have a new one. We're here.
One. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed that too. Even when I'm out in Kennington and stuff, it's like, you've realized that these people feel like that they're completely abandoned and that they have nothing. So it's like, they're like, oh, what else do I have to do but to just get high? Like, they have no reason to get out of that.
It's almost like they create their own world out there.
Yeah.
Where they're free from whatever it is that emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever it is that got them to that point. Yep. And they created their own little community. And
in the worst way, almost.
And it is in the worst way. To them, it becomes a normalcy. And when you talk to them, they'll tell you how easy it is to get sucked down there and into this reality. And then from being down there, you kind of start to feel like there's no way out of it.
Right.
And I work down there every day, so I'm down there every day and see it every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, my job takes me down there every day.
Officer down in Kensington.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I run a program that helps people get into treatment through the police department.
Oh. Cool.
So I'm down there every day and see it every day and get to talk to them every day and really get to pick their brains, and it's sad. It's really sad.
You notice a common theme when talking to them? Like, I guess when you
just sadness and the lack of hope. They feel hopeless. They feel helpless. Yeah. And even when you say to them, no, it's here, like, let us help you, they still can't see that possibility.
Right.
And to get help in Philadelphia is so hard. The city does not make it easy for these people to get help in any way. Yep. So, like, I always try to tell people, like, when you talk to somebody, if you ask their story, like, they have amazing stories. Yeah. And they truly are some of the most amazing, strongest people.
They are. Yeah.
And, when you get their stories and they tried so many times, they give up. They're like, if they don't care, I can't get through this, why do I care?
That's what makes people like you guys and Teach on Fee One so special, is when I showed up to help cover them giving away the car that they did. So I was talking to the girl, Bree, and she was in recovery in and out like 9 times. Like, she's like 9 times she would fail, then go back, fail, then go back. And then the 9th time, 11 months clean, she finally gets a car to go see her kids. Like, it's all kind of just like, that's why that's so important for people to see that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Recovery happens every day, and it's an amazing thing, and it's an amazing journey. And those people in recovery, my hat's off to them. They are some of the strongest people there are, and the warrior that they have to be to kind of dig down that deep and deal with the emotions head on is not an easy task for anybody. Let alone somebody who's dealing with all the battles that come with substance use disorder.
And the families and stuff, and not being able to see their families, the broken relationships in their families, and that's why it's important just to highlight. It's weird because you want to highlight them and make them feel Like that, like every little thing they're doing every week that they're in recovery is a big deal.
Every step is a big deal.
Every step is a big deal.
Every day is a big deal, you know? And I can't tell them, you know, the people that I work with every single day, and I truly mean it from the bottom of my heart, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for today. I'm proud of you for yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing. You know, one of the things that the group does that everybody enjoys doing, all of us enjoy doing, is we go to recovery houses and we make homemade meals. So we make them
awesome.
home-cooked meals and we take it to them. And before COVID, we would actually sit down and finish cooking it there and have conversations and like just kind of get to know them all. And you know, COVID kind of killed that.
It messed everything up.
Yeah. So we would just cook the meals, drop it off, and like little notes to them and stuff, and always checking on the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, COVID's kind of going back, so we'll be getting back to doing that kind of stuff. But we love doing that because we love reminding the people in recovery that they're badass and they're doing it. They're here doing it.
Yeah.
And then finding those that don't really have the family support. And when I tell you, like, Never Surrender Hope will take them in and just wrap our arms around them and like really tell them, like, we're here. What do you need? We're here to help you along the way. You want us to go to appointments with you? We're going to appointments with you. You need to get dropped off. You need help making a resume. What do you need? We're here. You know, you just need a hug. You want to talk and listen? Then we're here.
It's amazing.
You know, so that's always a great thing. All of us enjoy doing.
You did a really good job at establishing a community of people who were just very supportive of each other. Like I noticed when you post like, oh, this person's been clean, it's like 150 to 100 comments.
Listen, we have the best. I have to say we have the best, most supportive page and volunteers and, you know, board. And I couldn't be more proud of every single one of them, you know, and understand too, it's like, it's our recovery too. So like the family has a recovery process as well. And, you know, when you're helping other people, it kind of helps you. And, you know, it kind of is almost like that full circle. Like, you know, and I always felt with my son, I couldn't help my son. I was there for him. But when I was his mother, he would never process what I said. He knew I knew what I was saying, but he wouldn't process it because I'm mom. But, you know, then one of my friends could step in that he respected, like Kathy, you know, and talk to him. You know, and things would settle in, or Danielle, like, you know, when it comes from somebody else, it's different. And it's no different down on the streets. So when we're there, like, we may talk to him, mom says, can you go find my kid? And we go look for him and we find him. And I know I'm saying the same things to him that his mother has said to him 50 million times over. But for some reason, it's different when it's coming from someone else.
I think because naturally, like, when you know, my like say, my mom tells me to, like, you know, clean my room or something, like, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna, like, you don't want to do it because you kind of want to rebel naturally. But like when it's somebody else, it's like, oh, my mom's been telling me this for weeks or months, and then I have someone else come and tell me the same thing. It kind of hits you different just because it's
maybe
like
just verify
somebody you don't know.
Exactly.
What else have you guys been doing in terms of events? You guys run events and stuff monthly?
We do some events. You know, COVID stopped a lot of that. We do a lot of over COVID we had to get creative. So we started doing like the wheel spins on Facebook where we were raffling off, like, you know, prizes as thank yous for the donations.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was actually really cool, and people were so supportive. So you know, even in a time like COVID where people were out of work and didn't have money, they were still supporting us, and that love was so felt, and it was so needed because we still had to keep doing our work and find ways to get to people in a different way.
Innovate.
So you know, COVID, although it made things harder, it also kind of made things people closer, you know, or more involved, which was beautiful.
I completely understand that.
And then we have like different events that we'll have at different times. Like we have coming up, we have the Overdose Awareness Walk, the Never Surrender Hope Overdose Awareness Walk.
Okay, when's that?
August 28th, Saturday, August 28th, and it's over at Calvary Football Field on Nice Road.
Oh, Our Lady of Calvary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the track and field.
That's where I played.
Yeah. So we're gonna, you know, we have the walk around there, and it's a beautiful event. And anyone who wants to get involved, they can just come to our Facebook page, and all the information is there for the event.
What are the exact times for the event?
6.
6?
Right? Yeah, 6 o'clock.
6 to what?
Like 6 to 8, 6 to 9. You know, really, it's kind of one of the things we don't put an end time on it because you don't know how many people are going to be there, how many people have loved ones that they're grieving, missing. You know, we do have ways that we will acknowledge everyone whose loved one has passed, if they would like to acknowledge that person, which we'll be putting up on the event page so that they can put their loved one's name on there. We have our shirts that we do, and every year we update this. You know, the back of the shirts have
I like the design on
in memory of, you know, so we got all our loved ones' names on the back that have passed. Yeah, and the design was great. That was,
is there a website?
You know, a great logo.
Can you get them on the website? You have a website?
We do have a website. It's www.neversurrenderhope.org.
That'll be linked in the description if you guys want to grab your own shirts. So.
Yeah, that's on there, and we'll have to have Marissa put a thing up for shirts on there. We do have most people just go on the Facebook page for the shirts, so you're more than welcome to message Marissa Felici for shirts.
That's awesome.
They are great shirts. Everybody wants them. It's actually great. Like every time we go somewhere, people are like, "Where can I get a shirt?" That's great. So yeah, we're lucky enough to have an amazing logo.
That's
and,
awesome.
We had Eric to thank for that. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Who helped us with our logo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys been helping a lot of people, and is there any stories specifically that really stand out to you? Any maybe success stories that stand out to you? Because I feel like I always try to highlight them. You always hear about
so many success stories.
Yeah.
There really are so many
there's so
success stories,
That's
and
good.
that's the thing. There's so many of them. How do you pick one? I mean,
Right.
we really have so many people in recovery that it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One close to my heart would be Nick Connor. I love you, Nick.
That's awesome.
Who is Kathy, who's on our board.
Okay.
It's her son, and he was also my son's best friend. So when my son passed away, they were like brothers. And when my son passed away, it hit him really extremely hard. He is now coming up on August 4th, 2 years in recovery, and just opened his own recovery house out in Florida.
That's amazing.
So that's full circle. I'm so proud of him. He makes me cry, but it's happy tears,
Yeah,
and it's an amazing journey because Nick was a lot like my son, where he felt like he was never going to make it. He was his own worst enemy. He was always in his head. He was always fighting himself. And, and he's just doing so good.
That's awesome.
And it makes me smile big every time I think about it.
And as you should,
so he's like, it's an amazing story. But there's so many people in recovery just like Nick that are making it. So, I think that's what a lot of people don't see. They see the stigmas associated with it. And, my son was I don't know, I'm his mom. He was gorgeous. He was a gorgeous son.
Handsome guy.
Yeah, and listen, the ladies loved him. And, it's funny because when I go and I talk to different people or different classes that I do, because I do talk at the police academy as well, trying to help with the recruits.
Nice. Cool.
Whenever I show my son's picture, they're like thrown off. They're like, whoa, that is the face of addiction. And whether my son was white, black, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's loved. He's clean, he's good looking, he's got a family that loves him and supports him, and he's no different and was on those streets of Kensington.
Right.
And do they get a little dirty being homeless? Yes. That's the face of homelessness. That's the reality of homelessness.
Right.
Did he look and feel broken? Absolutely. And he felt that way knowing he had a whole family supporting him, So my son is no different than the next kid down there. And that's the important thing for people to understand. Like, these are not just scumbags. They're not just trash. They're not just to be ignored. These are they're loved. They're loved by somebody.
They're somebody's son.
And they have meaning behind them. There's meaning to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're somebody's son. And I mean, that's the first thing I noticed when I was out there is like, there's no certain face to addiction. There's no discrimination to addiction. It could be anyone. It could be any person, any race. And when I was out there too, like even when I still go out there, but like every Thursday I'll be there and giving out food. And I noticed like they always say thank you. They're always the nicest people on the planet.
So appreciative, right?
It just sucks because there's a disease that that is affecting them. And I've been really trying to just educate myself on it because I have lost a friend the other day to addiction. Literally, she just passed away. Went to junior prom with her.
So
crazy stuff. Yeah, it's just you would never expect it. You would never think that person would be affected by that stuff.
When my son passed away, I literally had neighbors and knocking on my door saying, I didn't even know he had a problem. And what happens behind closed doors, you really don't, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not something that someone, screams and yells like, hey, my son's an addict, with neon lights. You know what I mean? But I mean, those close to you know what's going on. They can see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's also something where you find, you kind of learn your friends and family, because the support you need as I can say as a mother going through that with their child, you learn a lot about people.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of support.
Yeah.
And you hear people say they're not showing up for with casseroles because my son's sick with addiction. You know what I mean? And so it can become a lonely place.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that Never Start Hope. you don't have to be alone. We're here. We got it. We had a support group meeting last night. We just started back in person because of COVID. So the second Tuesday, am I saying this right, Marcia? The second Tuesday of every month, we have a support group in person at Faith Lutheran Church on Woodhaven Road, right by Knights and Woodhaven, just past Santucci's, at 7 p.m. So that's there every second Tuesday of the month. That's run by Kathy. She does an amazing job with it. And then what we're going to do is continue the fourth Tuesday of the month. We'll still be doing, we do it on a Blue Jeans app, just so people who aren't local, you know, can still make it to the support group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, support is key. And that's whether it's the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, the cousin, everybody needs the support.
The support has to be unwavering, I've learned. It has to be constant, and it does take a toll on you, like you, the person who's trying to support them. Yeah. But like if you truly love that person, you'll always try to be there. And it's hard because you don't want them to be too close because of the, you know, maybe the habits they've had. You know, you don't want them to be around because you want them to get help, and you have to like give the tough love, but it's also like you just want to like bring them in, and it's,
well, that's the tricky word, tough love, you know, and that's something that you know, years ago you would hear them say, like, you have to give tough love in order for them to live. And they would say, you know, you got to put them on the street, you got to ignore them, you can't answer the phone calls, don't talk to them, just completely shut them out. And what they're showing is that's the total wrong way to handle it.
I don't fully agree with that.
Yeah, I think like, so like, they have to know that the family's going to be there for them. You know, so again, you can't give them to the point that you're making their addiction easy. Yeah. You know, if they're happy, like there's a problem.
Like they have no resort.
Right. You want them to be unhappy with you because it's the addiction that's unhappy with you. You want that addiction to be mad at you. And that's the truth, because as soon as that addiction gets mad at you, it means that you're standing up to that addiction and you're trying to push them to be uncomfortable to get that help they need. If they're hanging around every day and they're happy and they're still using and everything's good,
that's a problem.
Something's not right. That's a problem. You're making it too easy. So sometimes, you know, you got to push them boundaries. But as long as, and listen, there's no right or wrong. And I tell every parent that. I agree. Whatever you decide in that moment is because you're doing it out of love. There's no right or wrong. So everybody's family addiction may be slightly the same, but it's also different and complex. So if one parent says, I'm putting you out, I can't look at you anymore because it's killing me, that's okay. That's the right thing to do. If one person says, I can't talk to you anymore, it's okay. Like you know, as long as you're not doing it out of malice, it's okay. Yeah. We can only handle so much.
And a common theme that I've learned is that relationships can be built back up.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like example with like Darnell, like, you know, he wouldn't talk to his family, and you know, my friend Becky and Meg. It's been a common theme that I've noticed is like everyone that I've had on who has had an addiction issue or has suffered from the disease, their family kicked them to the curb, and then they started to get clean. The family took them seriously. Now that they're stronger than ever. Now Meg's mom helps every week with Grace Project. So it's like you can build that back up, and I think that's hard because they feel
the
like
love is never gone.
No.
So I mean, that's the thing. That's the important thing. Right. The love is never gone. You know, families have to protect themselves too, and then you have to make them uncomfortable. Absolutely. So whatever you have to do that in some kind of way. When you know, and when they're ready and they're there and you're taking that hand, you're saying, I'm here when you're ready. That's an amazing thing. So if that's what you have to do for tough love, then that's tough love, you know, but completely shutting out and saying, you know, or not like maybe belittling, that's kind of crossing the line a little bit. It's not, but like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's a little different and it's a little rough, and that's like a whole subject in itself that you can go on forever. But I always tell families there's no wrong answer. And, you know, just as long as they know that you're going to be there for them when they're ready, that's the most important thing.
I've been trying to do research and I think you just have to, like, a spark has to be ignited within them. It can't be a single thing your family says, because your family's always going to be there. But it has to be like with Becky, like when I was talking to her, she's on the board for the Grace Project as well. She helps out Meg. I asked her, I was like, what was the reason why you got clean? And she was like, my nephew. Like someone in her, like, she saw something that just like completely.
It's different for
every single person.
It really is. It's different. Some it's just a feeling of such despair they give up, and they finally say, I can't fight it anymore. I need the help. Some it's a child. Some it's a mother. Some it's a father. You know, some it's themselves, like something that's sparked for themselves. So, I mean, really, it's different for every person, and whatever it is, that's amazing. Whether it's something little or huge, it's amazing that they find it. And then, you know, a lot of times it keeps them going. I know for, like, I call her my bonus daughter, which is my grandson's mother, because
Okay.
my son had a son when he
okay.
passed.
Okay.
And they weren't together, but they were still really good friends. And for her, it was my grandson. Like, you know, it was her child. And it's not to say that. So listen, like, you know, my son loved his son more than life, you know, but it's not always enough to get them through that hurdle to get over it, you know. And my son truly believed, he went to treatment over 40 times. I lost count, you know. You know, some of them were him truly every time he would go, I really want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. There's other times in there I think he went just because I said, listen, you know, so we would just go.
I mean, there's different moods, right? Every single time you go, you feel different about it.
But when he would look me in the eyes and say, Mom, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, and you could see it in him.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it, I'm going to do
that.
it. He believed that.
Yeah.
And he tried it. He tried. Did he try his hardest? I don't know. I mean, I can't say yes because he's not here today.
Right.
You know, my belief is he had it in him to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I always, you know, again, did he think he was trying his hardest? Probably at the time. You know, until he relapsed, when he could have. There's always a little room for improvement and trying different things and new things, you know.
Yeah, I think of it as a threshold. Everyone has their own threshold, and it happens whether it's like whether you want to relapse or relapse a relationship or a friendship. It's like you're gonna tell them a million times, oh, you can't be with that person, don't go hang out with that person. You're gonna do it until it eventually just hits, and it hits for you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
my son went to treatment, came home and died 4 days later. You know, so I hoped it was the time, didn't know if it was, and obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
And he was weak in that moment, but he definitely had the tools
necessary
that he could have implied, and he didn't imply them. You know, he chose not to.
You know, I lost my son, but I'm also turning the biggest negative in the world into one of the biggest positives, and being able, and like what's beautiful about it is you're just able to like give, like, pay it forward in a way. Like, listen, I don't want it to happen to another family.
I don't want another mother to feel my pain, another father to feel my husband's pain, another sister. It's crushing.
I know.
It's crippling. We have Angie on our board. She lost her son Cody, who was also a friend of my son's. You know, and when Cody passed, it broke my heart, and I couldn't. You know, my pain for her was just, you know, immense, and then it happened to me, and you know, and I know she doesn't want another mother feeling that pain, and neither do I, and Scott lost his son, you know, and so, you know, there's a lot of us that know exactly what a lot of these parents are going through. And, you know, not only like the pain of losing, but I don't want another mother to go through the emotional roller coaster of,
is it my fault?
Yeah, like there's just so many, you know, it took me a while to figure it out, and it took me educating myself, and it took me meetings and all these different things to realize what would I have done differently with my son? Nothing in the world. I mean, my son had a good life. He was loved by his entire family. I can't hold his hand every time he walks out that door. And, you know, coming to the thing of addiction is, his friends today, like his best friends growing up when all this started, some of them are fine. Some of them are past. Some are in recovery. Some are not in recovery. And some of them are doing amazing and never had an issue and never looked back. You know, and that's the thing of addiction. Why is it one versus the other? I don't know the answer. Scientists don't know the answer. Doctors don't know the answer. But, you know, it wasn't my fault. And I'm okay with that, you know. And I'm also okay with the fact that I don't live in a what-if world. So I'm not a mom living in the what-if world, and I don't want other mothers living in that world. And if I can help them get to that point, because that's such a dark place to be, I would love to be able to do that. Yeah,
it's one of the most admirable things is, like, because something I've, like, learned, obviously not through something like that, but you always try to say, listen, this happened. It's horrible. It sucks. But, like, you need to think to yourself, like, how am I able to move forward, and how am I also able to prevent it from happening again or happening to somebody else? And it's like you're able to leave your legacy for your son, and like have him realize that he didn't go out in vain, and what you know what I mean? Like,
I have to say I feel him with me 100%.
Yeah, because he
I
is.
do. I truly.
Is.
I think that's why I feel my comfort so much. because I do. I truly feel him with me. And, you know, I know that he's proud of the stuff that all of us from Never Surrender Hope are doing. I know he's proud of his sister. I know he's proud of like everyone in his life, and I feel him with me, and it comforts me.
Yeah,
and it helps me go.
It should be comforting.
Because there has been many times where I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. You know, it does become emotionally, physically, mentally exhausting at times. Especially like, you know, when you're not long after Ned passed, there was a Chad. I love Chad. I found Chad like on Aramingo Avenue. Sweetest kid. Again, you know, his eyes just, and I stopped immediately. I was working, and he was like, "Oh my God!" He was like, "I'm getting out on me," you know. And I'm like, "No. I'm not here as a cop. I want to talk to you as a mom."
Yeah.
And then he was looking at me like, "What?" And then me and my daughter actually went. He said, "Come back. I definitely want to get help." And we went and picked him up. You know,
That's amazing.
And we drove him to treatment, and I kept in touch with Chad, and I kept, you know, following him, and, you know, checking on him. And when Chad passed, that was very hard on me, because again, here's another sweet kid that we just lost, you know, and then my heart broke for the family and all that. And Chad will be with me forever. Chad's always in my heart. I always think of Chad, and I have, you know, others like that as well. And when you lose somebody, it's hard, but when you help somebody and they're doing really well, that's always a great feeling.
Because you just feel like that it's the person you may have lost could be the reasoning or the strength to go and help another person.
Yeah.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? When I lost my grandma, I'm like, this is when I was in like 2016, years ago from, you know, cancer. It's like she was like the biggest loss I've had in my life, and it was like you always feel like that person is watching you and supporting you, and it's the reason why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And
we had, I'll tell you, really great. We had recently an event for our Hope Bags. So we had out the Hope Bags, which I'm sure she does too, right?
Yeah, you're talking about that,
Yeah, so we have an event where our volunteers they donate all of the stuff to make it, and then we set it all up, and they come, and it was kind of like an assembly line. Then we put all these bags. We put together 956 bags.
56 bags?
Yes.
Where do you put them all?
We have storage units and houses. So, So 956 bags. And, you know, one of the people that were in the assembly line said, you know, this is amazing. Like, I used to be on the streets receiving these bags, and here I am making them to give to somebody else.
That's deep, man.
And when that was repeated to me, my heart was just like, oh my God, you know.
That's what it's all about.
And that's just when you, it just, like, it's working. This is working. You know what I mean? Here he is doing great, and he's making those same bags that we used to hand him.
Yep.
You know, and that's the kind of stuff that keeps you going. You know,
and it's what it allows people that you've lost to not live their lives in vain. It's like that they're the reason why this is happening. I hope you guys realize that your son is one of the reasons why this is getting to this so extensive and so big, and you're gonna reach that point to where, like, you're talking to the news or you're giving out 10,000 Hope Bags, and it's like, this is for my son. He was the reason why this happened.
Yeah, I mean, we all, like I said, like each one of us on the board have our reason for being there. I know why I'm personally doing it. I mean, I know their stories, and I wish they could be here to tell their stories. You know, they all have great stories, you know, and some are sad and some are, but, you know, tragedy kind of turned around, you know, and I think that's what makes it so great. Everybody's so real.
It's just important to, I'm starting to learn just from sitting here, is it's important to embrace your purpose and your reasoning of why you're doing things. You know, instead of being like, oh, this happened to me. It's like, no, this is the reason why I'm giving back, and the reason why I'm educating people and myself, and, you know, having people post on the pages, and there's about
it's an amazing
stories.
page too. Like, great, and then like the support group page, like that page on Facebook is, if you really look at it, you have people posting that are in recovery trying to help out. You have parents posting out. You have sisters, brothers. You have posts coming from all different ends, and then you'll have that post pop up that says, "Help me, I need help. Like, can you help me?" And they're reaching that hand out, and you're there to help them. So it's kind of getting everything all in one, and it's like a great thing. It's a great resource.
Theirs are always the most emotional. I had someone at Kensington probably like a month or so ago. It's like, breaks my heart thinking about it. Like, 'cause I like didn't know what he was there for. So I was out helping give out food and stuff, and there's this guy who, like, he looked perfectly normal, looked like a normal guy, like, and he was like, he would come up to me and was like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, are you a volunteer? Like, he's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, like, do you want to help? He's like, I was like, do you want any food? And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you want to help out? He's like, maybe we'll see. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I had no idea because I'm giving out. I'm like, I'm not knowing what's really going on. Dude's still standing there. I'm like, Meg, why is this dude standing there? She's like, I don't know. And then this guy Scott, who he helps out, he's like a chatterbox. So he talks to everybody. So he was talking to him, and this dude like started breaking down and was like, I need help. I need to go to recovery. And Meg was able to give him support. We were able to get him on the phone with the recovery house that day and get him in that day. And the dude was just breaking down, and it broke my heart because I'm like, I had no idea that he was asking for help. I had no idea.
It really is one of them things that you just, you start to know, and the more you go out there, the more you'll pick up on that little, you know what I mean? Listen, not every, again, it's that like,
so
he doesn't look like somebody that needs help,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? So you're not sure, you don't want to be rude, you don't want to just assume, you don't want to, it's kind of one of them awkward things sometimes.
It wasn't even awkward, I was just like, it was scary because I didn't even know why, I didn't even know he was asking for help. That's the scary part, is you don't know why he's there, like, you would never know. And the scary part is, I feel like a lot of the people out there feel the same exact way. They're just scared to, and that's why it's so important to have resources out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and more resources than our city can offer here in Philadelphia, for sure. And that's the thing. That's the great thing about all these beautiful organizations. We kind of start making our own little circle of where we're trying to reach out because we're not getting the help here.
It's got to come from the people themselves because the city ain't going to do it.
No, it's not. Sad to say.
It's sad. I wish they could figure out a way to do it. Maybe it's because they want to keep the classes all different, keep different classes, keep the Kensington people in the bubble. Like, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like you want to get these people out too. But
it's not fair.
It's not.
Listen, it's not fair to them suffering on the streets and living the way they have to live or they feel they have to live. It's not fair to their families, and it's not fair to the people who live in Kensington.
Right.
So it's not fair all around.
Yeah, it's just a big
it has to be addressed.
The
city's not addressing it. They act as if they are, and they're not.
Yeah, something's gotta give, because I've started educating myself in November, like started doing all this in November, and it's like I'm slowly starting to realize like I never knew about any of these groups really before I started doing this, and I'm like so happy that I've been able to do this and have like the people who watch and like educating the people just like on these kind of groups, and that's what makes my heart fulfilled, like just being able to like support and help out anyway, and then maybe down the line like you guys did, like I start my own down the line or something like that, but it's like for now I just like to listen to stories, and I like to educate myself on.
Well, we appreciate it, and I'll tell you, something really needed in this world is the younger crowd coming in,
100%.
and getting involved,
100%,
and helping out and giving back and being, come out with these organizations, like come out and just check them out and like, give that little bit of help, like even if it's for an hour or two, whatever, like come and help out, get involved, educate yourself, because this is an epidemic that isn't going away.
It's not going anywhere, and
you'll have that person with the judgments and the stigma. Well, come check it out firsthand before you make that judgment, and you'll learn a whole different side of it.
I was so judgmental. Like I wasn't like super bad, but I was like I always associated Kensington with being bad, drug addicts, bad people. Like then you start putting yourself out there. Like I've had people ask come and volunteer and like completely change the way they thought about it.
It does. When you get involved, you really see the truth behind it, and when you see the truth and the feeling and the emotions and everything that it encompasses, it will really open your eyes and change your mind as to those negatives and saying, wow, like this is messed up, like we need to do something. And there's something I've always tried to do, and like I go out to her, see her out the bar and stuff like that in Northeast. Like it's like these people, like they want to help, they just don't know where to go. They don't know how. I never knew how to help. I just you just got to put yourself out there and put the resources out there. You just have to put like anything. Never surrender hope. Great group, try us out. Teach one, feed one. I'm always throwing Darnell out there. I love him. He's family to me now, and Darnell is my family. I mean, there's these great organizations. Like you were talking about Brittany Neg, and so like Brittany knew my son. And I just reached out to her because I watched her podcast talking about her 50 smiles in 50 states, and I'm like, what? Why did I not hear about this? So I messaged her like, hey, that's amazing. What can I do to help? Like she's awesome. But again, it's her experiences, Darnell's life experiences, Meg's life experience. It's all their life experiences. It's what leads them and they're making something beautiful out of it.
Just like what you guys are doing. So it's no different, and it's beautiful.
No, it was our heartbreak and our like again, like my son, I'm thankful for my group because I know through my son's passing, I would not have made it standing without them. And that's the truth. Support is key when you're dealing with substance use disorder. It's just a key for everyone, those in recovery, not in recovery, you know, in active addiction, the family, everyone. And we all have a part. Like, you know, Marissa has her sister's group. They're sisters, you know, and she's friends with other sisters that lost their brother or have brothers suffering actively or in recovery. Sisters see it differently than mothers see it, than brothers see it, you know. So it's good to have everybody around and kind of, you get that little bit of support everywhere.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
And that's amazing. Yeah, me and Brittany are actually going to Orlando August 5th to the 9th for like a TikTok meetup. Because she has a bunch of people who wear dentures and stuff. So
her teeth are beautiful.
Yeah. So
she looks gorgeous.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she's been coming out to Kennington.
I
so
love
she's
it.
been helping
I
out.
love it.
Yeah, she's the best. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just super refreshing and super like nice to just have you guys here and just to talk with you guys and kind of learn a little bit more about you guys and more behind the page itself and where it's gonna go, and I'm excited to see where it goes. You guys have any plans besides the event coming up?
Nothing right now. Do we have anything else planned right now, Marissa?
Just kind of working on that for now.
We are looking. Like we're trying to we're hoping to find somewhere in Northeast Philadelphia. We're going to do something where we do some type of memorial garden, so we can start bring awareness and have a place for people to go.
That's amazing.
You know, so that's something that if anybody would like to get involved in that, please reach out because we are looking for like somebody to donate a little piece of property to us, like, you know, open land.
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Yeah, and like, you know, just we want to have a place that people can acknowledge their loved ones. You know, I didn't bury Ned. I couldn't let go of him. It was, you know, a family thing that we decided. And I have him with me. He's in the house. I have his ashes, you know, put out so we can see him. I talk to him every day.
It's all personal preference,
But, like, you know, friends of mine had gotten a brick with his name on it, the girls from the group, and I go to that brick. And to me, I don't have a cemetery to go to, so I go to that brick. And, you know, it means so much, you know, so we would Never Surrender Hope would love to provide something like that to families up here in the Northeast that they can come to and kind of make it beautiful and have somewhere they can go and reflect and sit, you know. So that's something we're working towards right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to help any way I can, cover it, be a part of it.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're working on it, so we'll see where it goes.
And give out those hope bags too. Those bags got 900 and what?
Listen, they go like that. Trust me, we kind of we're out there, like, you know, just in so many locations that they go. And you know, with us with the bags, we don't just hand the bag. That bag for us is our conversation. So that allows us to stand there and have a full conversation, get to know them. We get to know them on a first name basis and their story and what they need. And have you talked to your mom? You want to get on the phone with your mom and just get that hello and you know, so it builds relation. Them bags are more than just a bag. Yeah, it provides them with a little nutrients, but it also gives us the time to give them a little hope.
Yeah, and I had my little cousins a few weeks ago. We put out a video for it. Me and all my little cousins went and we made our own hope bags, and I gave them out because obviously you don't want younger kids out in Kennington. But
no,
all of a sudden my little cousin Braden, who's like 4 years old, started writing "You are loved" on the bags, and I'm like, dude, his I
would have cried. I would have cried.
Suffers from it, so it's like he's like, I'm like, oh my, like I got.
And how old is he?
He's 4.
Yeah,
4 years old.
You know, like my grandson was 7 when his dad passed away, but when he was about 6, we started talking about his father's disease of addiction and in little kids terms, so that he understood, you know, why is dad always going away? Where is he? Why can't he come home? Even when he'd be away, he would FaceTime him. He would always make sure he FaceTimed them and stayed in touch with him. But, you know, we felt it was good to let him know a little bit of something, which I'm kind of glad we did, because when he passed away, I had something to tell him and I didn't feel like I had to lie. You know, and you know, your dad lost the battle with his disease, and you know, as hard and heartbreaking as it is, he's not afraid. He's 9, and he's not afraid to tell somebody. My dad died from addiction. My dad had the disease of addiction, and he's still asking a lot of questions, you know, and I tell him what I can at his age level. You know, it's hard when you have a kid and they see it. They see more than you know.
You can't hide it from them.
How long do you hide that? And how do you hide it? You know, it's hard. That's a tough one.
I mean, the way you can kind of look at that too is like, educating him so maybe he can educate others his age and
Yeah.
start them. You don't want to ever start them that young, because you also don't want him to realize that it was his fault or he had any reasons behind that.
Yeah, like
you
it's
know?
kind of one of the things that I felt and talked to his mother about. Was she okay with me doing it? You know, he's going to have to make his decision someday. He needs to be able to make smart decisions, knowing his mother and father's history. He needs to know what it can do to you. And this is what happened to Dad.
Yeah.
You know, all from starting out with maybe a little weed, a little beer, a little pill. You know, it's him having the answers as to why his father's not here.
More and more questions. You know, him
Yeah,
being 24.
and it's okay. I'm going to be here to answer every one of them. You know, or and if I can't, somebody else, I'll find somebody who can. You know, he's in therapy. He gets what he needs that way. But I feel like it's important for him as he grows up. If he knows now not to be embarrassed, shamed, and not to judge somebody else that may be going through
Absolutely.
it, I think that's a big lesson,
own
life lesson for him. Own it.
Own it.
Don't you ever,
People-
you hold that head up high when you talk about this.
And people can't use against you what you already own and what you already have, right?
Exactly.
And take pride in it, you know.
Yeah.
Say my dad fought a battle and he may not have won, but he also was carrying a legacy. You know, my grandmom and my aunt, and they're doing Never Surrender Hope, and they're helping people every single day.
Yeah,
you
he can
know.
always say, "My dad loved me." That kid
Yeah,
knew that,
yes,
unlimited, and
absolutely.
and yeah. So I think that's always important too, but it's difficult at a young age.
Yeah, but he's 9, so he'll understand. He'll grow into it, and he'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a pleasure having you guys on and coming to talk and you just to listen and chime in here and there. Hopefully we have
Everybody
you on.
knows Marissa don't like
We
to
can
be
have
on
you
camera.
on for your own episode, but nah, it was truly a pleasure. Thank you for
I
sharing
appreciate
your
you
story.
having us. Thank you so
And
much for finding us.
Yeah, of course, and I want the world to see that. I want everyone to see this. I want to share this as much as possible and just get the awareness that your cause needs and your organization needs, because I truly feel, and I feel like COVID kind of caused this. I truly feel a tide changing in the way we think about the way we think about things, like the positivity, and just people are more and more now that their mental health has been suffering from being inside and not being able to go anywhere. They've been forced to address these issues and think about these issues, and I think now it's like groups like you guys are able to just like really just take the city, by I'm not gonna say by the balls, but take
we don't take no for an answer.
No,
we
right.
don't. Like it's no is not in our. You want to say no? Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna kick this door and we're gonna get a yes.
Yeah,
and that's what you need, and that's what these organizations are out there doing.
And I noticed like a lot of the groups are super super supportive of each other. So
Yes.
it's like if you're able to just glue them all together somehow, get one big event and just get people out there, and changing the stigma. Like Darnell always says, like you change the stigma on addiction. Like you can truly encourage the conversation and change the way people look at these things.
Yeah, one of our big mottos at Never Surrender Hope is it takes a community to help a community heal. So the more people that get involved to help people are helping the whole community.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm studying insurance right now. So one of the things is like you want more and more people to be involved in that insurance because it's easier to see the patterns and stuff. So if you're able to get more people involved, you're stronger in numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Especially
So-
in things like this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you guys want to get involved, I'll have everything linked in the description. They're called Never Surrender Hope on mainly Facebook, right?
Facebook, yeah.
Facebook. You guys on Instagram?
I have to say we're on Instagram, and I suck at doing it. So
Instagram's tough. And
we'll pick up on that.
yeah.
Um,
You'll get a wrestle on that. Yeah. No, but I mean,
yeah.
you guys are really doing a great job, doing a great thing, and your son Ned will be is super proud. And
Yeah,
I'm
I believe it. I do.
absolutely, I believe it, and I'm super honored and thankful you guys were able to come on and share your story, and hopefully we can get together in the future. I'll go to some of your events in the future.
Oh, we love that.
We can get more and more people to come. I'll get volunteers. We'll get all of it going. So.
Oh, we would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, so this is episode 33 of The Loft. I'm with Val and Marissa Felici. And thank you guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Cool.